Hi all, in this video we will discuss about pressure, Pascal's law and its proof, absolute pressure, gauge pressure, vacuum pressure, hydrostatic law and its proof, hydrostatic paradox, barometer, manometer and units of pressure. Pressure. Look at the figure. You can see a stone in a large mass of fluid which is at rest. Now I am considering a small area dA on the stone. The surrounding fluid will exert a normal force dF on that small area dA. Then we can define the small pressure dP like this. dP is the ratio of normal force to the area on which the force acts. That is, small pressure dP equals dF by dA. Now consider the entire area of the stone, that is A, and the total normal force acting on the stone is F. Then the total pressure P is the ratio of total force to the total area on which it acts. That is, total pressure P equals F by A. Pascal's law. It states that the pressure or intensity of pressure at a point in a static fluid is equal in all directions. Now we are going to prove the Pascal's law. Consider a wedge-shaped fluid element ABC with the dimensions dx, dy and ds. And we can assume the thickness of the fluid element as unity. Now Fx, Fy and Fz are the pressure forces acting on the fluid element in x, y and z directions respectively. We can write the pressure forces as follows. What is pressure force? It is pressure multiplied by the area of the surface on which it acts. Therefore, Fx equals pressure Px into area, that is dy into 1, since we assume unit thickness. That is, Fx equals Px into dy into 1. Similarly, Fy equals Py into dx into 1 and Fz is equal to Pz into ds into 1. There is one more force, that is weight of the fluid element which acts vertically downwards. Weight W equals mg, that is volume into density into acceleration due to gravity. Now we can write volume as area into thickness. Therefore, W equals area into thickness into rho g. That is, W equals half into dx into dy into 1 into rho g. Look at the figure. Angle ABC is given as theta. Now we are going to resolve forces in x direction. That is, Fx minus Fz cos theta equals 0. That is, Px dy into 1 minus Pz ds into 1 into cos theta equals 0. We can rearrange the equation like this. Px dy equals Pz ds cos theta. We can call this as equation number 1. Now from the figure, what is cos theta? Cos theta equals dy by ds. That is, ds cos theta equals dy. This is equation number 2. Now substitute equation number 2 in equation number 1. Therefore, Px dy equals Pz dy. Dy will cancel each other. Therefore, Px equals Pz. This is equation number 3. Now resolve forces in y direction. Therefore, Fy minus Fz sin theta minus W equals 0, which means Py dx into 1 minus Pz ds into 1 into sin theta minus half dx dy into 1 into rho g equals 0. By rearranging the expression, we can write Py dx equals Pz ds sin theta plus half dx dy rho g. Since the dimensions dx and dy are very small, we can neglect the term half dx dy rho g. That is, weight is neglected. Therefore, Py dx equals Pz ds sin theta. This is equation number 4. Now from the figure, Sin theta equals dx by ds. That is dx equals ds sin theta. This is equation number 5. Now substitute equation number 5 in 4. Dx will cancel each other. Therefore, py equals pz. This is equation number 6. Now by comparing equation number 3 and 6, we can write as follows. Px equals py equals pz. Therefore, pressure at any point in x, y and z direction are equal, which means pressure at any point in a fluid is the same in all directions. Hence, Pascal's law is proved. Absolute pressure, gauge pressure and vacuum pressure. Look at the figure. Atmospheric pressure line is shown. What is atmospheric pressure? It is the pressure exerted by atmosphere on Earth's surface. We know the value. It is 1.01325 bar. Absolute zero pressure line is also shown, which means pressure is zero in that line. Now what are gauges? Gauges are pressure measuring devices. Pressure gauges measure pressure above atmospheric pressure and vacuum gauges measures pressure below atmospheric pressure. Now this is important. Most of the gauges are calibrated to read 0 at atmospheric pressure. Therefore, if a pressure gauge reads gauge pressure of a gas, say 4 bar, it means it is 4 bar above atmospheric pressure as shown in figure. That is not the exact pressure. The exact pressure is the absolute pressure, which is based on zero pressure line. Now, how can we write the absolute pressure? It is as follows. Absolute pressure equals atmospheric pressure plus pressure gauge reading. Now, from our example, absolute pressure equals 1.01325 bar plus 4 bar. That is 5.01325 bar. This is the exact pressure of the gas. I think you understood this. Now, vacuum gauges are used to measure pressures below atmospheric pressure, which means if a vacuum gauge reads vacuum pressure as 0.3 bar, it means the pressure is 0.3 bar below atmospheric pressure. This is not the exact pressure. The absolute pressure at that point is given by absolute pressure equals atmospheric pressure minus vacuum gauge reading. From our example, absolute pressure equals 1.01325 bar minus 0.3 bar, which is 0.71325 bar. I am assuming that now you understood what is absolute pressure, gauge pressure and vacuum pressure. Pressure variation in a fluid at rest, that is hydrostatic law. Consider a rectangular fluid element ABCD in a large mass of fluid having cross-sectional area delta A and height delta Z. The element is at a distance of Z from the free surface of water. Pressure force P delta A acts on surface BC. Now what will be the pressure at AD? We can approximate that to P plus dou by dou Z of P into delta Z into delta A, which is from Taylor's series in mathematics. I hope you studied Taylor's series in your maths classes. I am not explaining that here. If you want to know about Taylor's series, you can comment it on comment box. Then I will explain that. Pressure forces on AB and CD are equal and opposite. So they will cancel each other. And we are not considering it. Weight of the fluid element W acts vertically downwards, and we can write W as density into G into volume. That is W equals rho G delta A delta Z. Now by balancing forces, we can write P delta A minus P plus dou by dou Z of P into delta Z into delta A minus W equals 0. That is P delta A minus P plus dou by dou Z of P into delta Z into delta A minus rho G delta A delta Z equals 0. After rearranging and cancelling terms, we can write dou by dou z of P equals rho g. Here, pressure varies with z direction only. So we can use the ordinary differential form, that is d by dz of P equals rho g equals small letter w, where w is the specific weight of the fluid. Now we can state hydrostatic law as follows. The rate of increase of pressure in vertical direction is equal to the specific weight of the fluid at that point. Now we know d by dz of P equals rho g is hydrostatic law. Pressure of a fluid increases in downward direction. But if we are taking z in upward direction, then we have to give a negative sign. That is d by dz of P equals minus rho g, because pressure decreases in upward direction. We use this expression for incompressible fluids, where there is little variation of density with height. So we can take density as constant. If we integrate the equation, we will get P is equal to rho g z, where z is pressure head. Now for compressible fluids like gases, density also varies with height. In such cases, we can state hydrostatic law as follows. Limit as delta z tends to 0, d by dz of P equals minus rho g. We are using negative sign because we use the equation mostly in the case of atmospheric air, and we are taking z in upward direction. This is an example to show the application of hydrostatic law. In the container, we have oil and water. H1 is the height of oil and H2 is the height of water. Now, the gauge pressure at A is given by rho oil into G into H1. Now, what is the absolute pressure at A? It is the sum of atmospheric pressure and gauge pressure. That is atmospheric pressure plus rho oil into G into H1. Similarly, gauge pressure at B is given by rho oil into G into H1 plus rho water into G into H2. And absolute pressure at B is given by atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure, that is atmospheric pressure plus rho oil into G into H1 plus rho water into G into H2. Hydrostatic paradox. The principle is pressure in a fluid at rest is independent of the shape or cross section of the container, but depends solely on its vertical height. Look at the figure. From that principle, we can say pressure at B equals pressure at D, and pressure at A, C and E are same. Barometer is used for measuring atmospheric pressure. It consists of an inverted tube in a mercury-filled container. Because of atmospheric pressure, mercury rises up to a height h. From hydrostatic law, we can write h equals P by rho g. And we know the value of atmospheric pressure. It is 1.01325 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. And density of mercury is 13,600 kg per meter cube. And the value of G is 9.81 meter per second squared. When we substitute these values, we will get H as 76 cm of mercury. Therefore, we can say 1 atmosphere is equivalent to 76 cm of mercury. And if we are using water instead of mercury, we know the density of water. It is 1000 kg per meter cube. And when we substitute the values, we will get H as 10.3 meter of water. It is a very large height. This is the reason why we are not using water to measure atmospheric pressure, because we need a very large tube. So we are preferring mercury. Manometer is an instrument used for measuring pressure. First one is simple U-tube manometer. Here, one end of the manometer is open to the atmosphere, and the other end is connected to the point where pressure is to be measured. Mercury is used as the manometric fluid. To find the gauge pressure at A, we can balance pressures on the datum line. That is PA plus rho g H1 equals rho m g H2, where Rho is the density of fluid at A and rho m is the density of mercury. Therefore, we can find the pressure at A, that is PA equals rho m GH2 minus rho g H1. And the second one is differential manometer. Here we want to find the pressure difference at A and B. So after balancing pressures along the datum line, we will get PA minus PB equals rho m GH2 plus rho g H3 minus rho g H1. Units of pressure. Okay, we know that SI unit of pressure is Newton per meter squared or Pascal. Bar is also a unit of pressure and the relation between bar and Pascal is 1 bar equals 10 raised to 5 Pascal. We also know that 1 atmospheric pressure equals 1.01325 bar, which is also equal to 1.01325 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal. When we discussed about barometer, we found that 1 atm is also equal to 76 centimeter of mercury and is also equal to 10.3 meter of water. And 1 mm of Hg is equal to 1 torr. Therefore, 1 atm is equal to 760 torr and is also equal to 1.033 kilogram per centimeter squared or kilogram force per centimeter squared, which is also equal to 14.696 psi or pounds per square inch. Okay, I hope you understood all the topics. If you like the video, subscribe my channel and click the bell icon also. Thank you.